And welcome to a new season, Formula One 2018. Exciting year we've got ahead for us. And this year I've got Fabio, our resident Ferrari expert and all things continental. And I just want to say, welcome to everybody. It's going to be a most exciting year. It looks like from the first race anyway that we've got a fantastically packed midfield, cat and dog. We've got politics going on straight from the off. We've got fast Mercedes as always, and we've got slightly suspect Ferrari, I would say, as always. And we've got Red Bull just whinging like bastards as normal. So it's going to be a good season. Testing was fantastic. Lots of mileage done in testing. So that bodes well for the beginning of the year. And maybe also for Ferrari this year. Maybe they won't break down so much. So lots of things to look out for. Over to Fabio, really, just to say welcome, Fabio. Have you had a good break? I hope you've been following everything, all the technology updates and the rule changes, because I haven't. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine, and I didn't either. But we'll make up shit, in a way, and people will believe it. No, I'm kidding. No, that's what.
Probably.
Yeah, probably that's what's going to happen. No, yeah, nice race last Sunday. Yeah, I mean the season has started finally, and just a little shout out. Even the motorcycle season has started, which is exciting too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have you enjoyed the race?
Yes, I did enjoy the race up to a point. Mainly the point where Haas decided to break their cars down on purpose.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Are we there already?
We're there straight away, dude. I'm not dropping.
Conspiracy? Jesus Christ.
Over to you anyway. Tell us how the race went and what happened.
Well, the race went. The race was interesting. It was predictable up to a point. Then it got really bizarre and fantastic for some people. Well, I guess it gets fantastic for some people, regardless of how the outcome. But for some people it was more fantastic because at the certain point it was quite unexpected. I was glad for Ferrari. I got what I expected from Hamilton. Amazing qualifying. It didn't show up, especially at the beginning. It was really hard to say if it was pacing or if it was really faster, because I really thought it would have been way faster. I'm talking about 18 laps, especially with the first set of tires. It seems to be that it wasn't as fast as I expected. Now, I don't know if it was pacing, was just conserving the tires. It wasn't going full throttle. I don't know, but I thought it was going after 2 laps, and instead it was still there. Ricciardo was amazing. Also because he got, I think, 3 positions back on the grid for some, I think they were too hard on the guy. He was quite fucked up. I think he got a red flag during I don't think it was qualified. It was P3 or P2, and he didn't slow down as much as he could, and he got penalized, which I think was bullshit. There were some surprises. Alonso was a nice surprise. Got 5th. Good to him. Renault was a good surprise. I was kind of expecting it after the tests, but I think it was a very good car. It performed really good, and I honestly didn't expect they were that good at the beginning. Haas was another nice surprise, mostly because it was 70% last year Ferrari. I mean, they started from a good platform, but I honestly would have never thought they would done that good up until the point they fucked up. Because they did good not only in the race but also in the qualifying. It showed up that they had a nice platform. It was really bad, what it happened, even because it's not a team which has got a lot of money. So if they want to make some points, the beginning of the season is the moment where you make some points, because then you don't develop the car too much and you risk, getting back and back in the grid. What else? The Honda curse stroke the Toro Rosso again. That engine. I don't know if at this point, I don't know if the engine is shit or it's just bad karma, because it seems to me that everywhere that engine goes, it's a problem. That's all. I think you want to address some other points, but we'll address them, specifically.
Absolutely. I mean, I would just start with the positives and say Ricciardo. I was saying at the end of last season what a great driver he is, and once again he proves it by giving what is nothing less than a 100% solid F1 drive. Made positions on his grid spot, didn't lose positions through the pit stops. Really solid. He always takes advantage of the situations that he gets given. So I really love to see. I'm going to love seeing him this season. Alonso, McLaren did okay, did pretty good. I think perhaps perhaps it's a car which is suited to the circuit more than the others, and I think they really will struggle when it comes to Malaysia and some of those tracks like Japan, etc. But you never know how they're going to develop the car, so hopefully there'll be some changes there. I mean, Haas, I'm a bit disappointed, if I'm honest. The car looks to be at its limit right now, and I can't see how they're going to develop that car so much that they're going to get amongst it. If they've got a good mid-range car, then they could be a showstopper for any weaknesses that Mercedes have. And that worries me, of course. As for the conspiracy, well, no, I'm not saying they deliberately didn't put the wheels on properly. What I'm saying is that Ferrari have a satellite which beams down loose wheel nut kind of frequencies. And that's probably what happened. But no, obviously there's too much money involved. But having said that, of course, I thought instantly my mind went to Flavio Briatore in Singapore. And I thought, well, he's prepared to throw a £3 million car into the wall just to get some win a race. So, yeah, I don't know. Would Ferrari say, we'll give you some extra bits if you crash both cars? I don't think so. Maybe they just did it with one, they just did it. No, again, it doesn't make any sense. So. Oh, well, never mind. It's just Ferrari.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a
Ferrari
good conspiracy.
Ferrari got lucky. Not so much lucky, I would say, but showed good skill in that they kept Sebastian out there when he was clearly losing time, in the hope that there would be a yellow flag. So that's good tactics, and perhaps Mercedes should have seen that and given not let Lewis get off the pace until Vettel had pitted.
The thing which I really got surprised is that Ferrari was able to change the tactics in no time at all, because keep in mind that they were making the race on Raikkonen. They tried the undercut on Raikkonen. I mean, that was the main ball up until the point where the virtual safety car joined in. Then
I'm glad we can disagree on something, because I disagree. I think they pitted Raikkonen early.
I don't know how the situation of the tires was with Raikkonen, but they had to do something. They had the advantage. Well, they had an advantage that Mercedes didn't have, which is the fact that they had two cars in the front, and they could play some tactic. Bottas was nowhere to be seen, and honestly, Jesus Christ. So I don't even want to talk about Bottas, because I think it was ridiculous. But anyway, they were able to. I mean, the reaction time of Ferrari was really good. They figured out they had a chance. And by the way, I don't want people to believe that that's something that was gifted to them. That thing, meaning that every race team prepares for contingency plans, and that was a plan that they prepared the fact that there might be a safety car or virtual safety car involved. Everybody makes those calculations. I know it sounds crazy, but they do.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And what people haven't realized, well, there were some mistakes in Mercedes. Toto Wolff said that they made a big mistake with the simulation software that they have.
Yeah, I don't believe that for a moment.
I kind of do. It was really bizarre. It is not uncommon, for example, and if you watch even other races from last year, there are some circuits where if you have the virtual safety car, you can lap faster if you go through the pit lane rather than staying outside, because there are some areas where the rules of the virtual safety car and the safety car do not apply, and that's by rule book. It's not like
absolutely, absolutely. It's all legal for sure. I mean, I was hoping that Hamilton would just drive through the pits on the next lap round, right? And then then Sebastian would do that the next lap, and then so it would depend when the safety car came in. But you can see, but just by saying that, you can see what a ridiculous rule it is in the first place. The fact that you're allowed to go full pelt from.
Listen, I mean, we might agree on that or not, but I think that's besides the point. What I think it's important I mean, what I think it's important to point out is that it's not a lack of rules. There is a specific rules which says that. So it's not that they exploited a loophole. I mean, the rule basically says that. If you read the rules under the virtual safety car things, it says that there are 3 conditions by which an overtake can be done under a virtual safety car. One is if a car has got problems, like in-your-face problems, now the guy can overtake. And then it specifies that a car can overtake in the while you get in the pit lane, because there is a line, the safety car line, where the speed limit doesn't apply. And if you see the way that Vettel got into the pit lane, it was fucking mental. It went that far of smashing the car in the wall. And this means that they knew that, and they prepared for that, and they knew exactly what they were doing.
Yes, of course.
And the third point where you can overtake under a virtual safety car is at the exit of the pit lane, up until the point of the safety. So, I mean, this is in the rules. Everybody knows that.
I agree. I agree. It was Mercedes' mistake to, to back. Well, I assume they backed Hamilton off after he pulled away from Raikkonen after the first pit stop, and that was a mistake because Vettel hadn't pitted. So they were definitely going to be susceptible to, some kind of pit strategy. And if the safety car comes out, well, we know if the timing's right, then that's a huge advantage for any cars pitting.
Right.
So, I've got no doubt that this was completely planned by Ferrari in the hope that a safety car would come out. Yeah. Also, now hang on a minute, just to get to the other point, which I wanted to make, even before the safety car happened, right? Raikkonen pits, forcing Hamilton to therefore cover him off and pit the next lap.
Right.
Okay. Right. The issue here now becomes is how hard does Hamilton push his tires, right? Because if he pushes too hard to cover Vettel off, right, then Raikkonen gets the advantage because he's not pushing his tires and he's right behind.
Right. That's what I meant at the beginning. So, that the Mercedes were playing on Raikkonen and not on Vettel. I mean, Vettel was the wild card.
Hang on. Let me get to the end then.
Please.
Right? Because no. Again, I think it's still a strategy, right? Still the strategy, because in that situation, right? Hamilton has to be aware of Vettel then pitting, who's now ahead, right? So he's got to catch up enough to Vettel to keep that gap. Right, but not pull away too much from Raikkonen in order to give Raikkonen the advantage in tyres.
Right.
So it's a real dilemma for Hamilton in the middle without Bottas there to cover. Right, it's a real dilemma, and that's why what Ferrari did, and Ferrari continued to do. They did it last year and the year before. Their race tactics for however many years, at least 3 years that I can remember now, have been back to Ross Brawn standards. right? Where they just don't mess up, right? Very much like Red Bull, and that's going to be the crucial thing this year is how Hamilton manages both of the Ferraris coming at him.
Right. No, I keep in mind that Mercedes and Hamilton were doing a very good job, and the thing is that their plan was really going well with the virtual safety car, because I mean, with the virtual safety car and the safety car, you basically manage to have 4 or 5 laps where you don't stress the tires. So even if you have older tires than Vettel, you can stretch them up a little bit.
Yeah.
But it is, to me, it was the thing which was really good, and really exciting was that was a situation where everything was coming according to Mercedes' plan, but for something they didn't consider. So that turnaround to me was really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I was very frustrated when it happened at the time. I just thought, oh God, here we go. It's back to the Formula One rubbish again. They don't know how to have a good show. And it doesn't make for a good show, I know it makes for a good season, right? Because clearly Mercedes have got a better car than Ferrari and by at least half a second, as far as I can see. It's a significant, maybe as much as 3/4 of a second. And that's going to be huge in the later things, because when we get to the faster tracks, it's going to stretch. It's not going to, we're on a pretty twisty track here, right? So this doesn't bode so well for the rest of the guys this year.
That's another thing which I think was interesting. When after everything went on, Hamilton was, the way that Hamilton behaved when he was trying to catch Vettel, to me was really, really strange, because it seemed to be that he didn't have that much of an advantage on Vettel. I mean, he could get 2/10 of a second, but then he lost 2/10 of a second. It was always, 1 second, the DRS was coming in or not. I mean, it didn't have that much of a superiority as last year. Okay. Then he made a mistake and he got like 1 second in 2 laps. But then he got to get back. So what I'm saying is that I am not really sure that Mercedes is so much ahead of Ferrari right now. And that goes even before, the whole safety car thing, when it didn't really give them like 6 or 7 or 9 or 10 seconds in 10 laps. The way that he used to do, or in 15 laps.
Yep.
So that was really interesting, because up until the point that the virtual safety car happened and Vettel was in front, I wasn't sure if Hamilton wasn't running 100%. But then he had to running 100%, and still he wasn't able to actually make. And I have no fucking idea what happened at the end. I don't know if it was the fuel. I don't know if he had some other problems.
Overheating and stressing the engine.
Yeah. Which is, in a way, sorry for Mercedes, but it is good news, because it shows that they've got limits. They're human. Now everybody is really, that level where, if something happens and you don't consider like half a second in a 300 kilometers race, you lose the race, which is, it's as good as it can be with this.
It's Formula One, at least.
Yeah, modern Formula One, this is as good as it gets.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I won't dispute that. I do think the Mercedes car looked to me far superior, mainly because of the range they can turn it up, right? I think that was the thing. Ferrari don't want to turn their car up, or couldn't turn their car up. Not that they needed to. And this is the point here for me, which is, Lewis could have been 3 seconds faster.
But could he?
Hang on. Following the Ferrari around that track, and we wouldn't know. Why I say it was a clearly superior car was because of how close he could stay behind Vettel. Right? Normally, if the cars are very evenly matched, they can't really stay 1.5 seconds or 2 seconds. Right? But Hamilton was easily able to just get into that DRS zone whenever he wanted to. He still couldn't make the move because you do need to be 2 seconds a lap faster around a track like that to overtake. And that clearly it's not a 2 second gap between the cars.
I understand your point. I mean, I also think that Mercedes is a better car right now. What I was really surprised is the fact that I thought it was a way better car than it is, and I'm not really that sure that it's so much better everywhere. If you get what I mean, I mean, I do.
There's
a little bit more hope.
I was judging that on how they behaved last year.
Right.
But, I mean, last year they were terrible here. So
yeah.
The fact that they've got a good car which is able to dominate a race like that is really hugely good for me. Obviously, I want Lewis to win this year. So I don't mind. In retrospect, I don't mind the little hiccup to do with the rules. Because it's something which Ferrari's going to pull time and time again this year. We're going to see. I think we are going to see Vettel out ahead after the first pit stops, stretching the time that he's out ahead in order to hope for a yellow flag of some description. And I think that's going to be quite a common thing. So even if he's ahead of Raikkonen, I would predict that's still going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I will contend to you, and I mean, I agree, it's semantics. I really do not accept the fact, that I can't remember the way you said. It's not that Ferrari exploited the rules or take advantage of the rules. Everybody's trying to do that.
Yeah, indeed.
They were better at doing that.
They did. I mean,
there is a huge difference between implementing the rule better than the other, or finding a loophole. That's totally different. So I just want to point out that one. But other than that, I agree with you. They've 100%. Got everybody's fighting with all the weapons that they have. So
100%. Again, I would lay the blame at Mercedes' door by saying, well, they should have, Hamilton should have been pushing right up until the point that Vettel stopped. He shouldn't have just been making sure that he covered a pit stop.
Right.
He should have been pushing to make sure that, to keep that gap coming down at such a rate that it forces Vettel to make his pit stop earlier than he might wish to, or at least not stretch his tires out so long.
That's why I think that there might be some truth in what Toto Wolff declared, that when he admitted that they made a mistake at in the box where they were trying to figure out if they were ahead. I honestly think that that this is what happened. Even Hamilton on the radio was quite taken aback. He said, what the fuck did you do? I mean, did I do something wrong? Because they were generally not expecting that, and I think someone fucked it up in some way.
I can agree with that, but I just think they didn't. If he's saying, "Oh, we thought it was 12 seconds," right, and Hamilton was 13 seconds ahead, so we thought that was fine. That doesn't sound fine to me, right? A second, right, in a pit stop, you can easily lose a second in a pit stop. No, when you're going for a pit stop, you're talking 5 seconds, right? So
I don't know.
I don't see why they wouldn't still say keep pushing until he pits, and that's what's going to have to happen in the future.
Well, they couldn't push as much as they wanted with the virtual safety car. That I think was the problem.
No. I meant before the safety car.
Oh, before. Yeah. Before, yeah. No, you're right.
Vettel was still ahead, right? Vettel was ahead. He hadn't pitted.
Right.
Lewis was second on the track. Okay, and the gap was like 13 seconds. Well, he should have been pushing up. Shouldn't have been 13 seconds, right? He should have just kept his foot down, right? Rather than going, now we've made our 12 seconds. I think that's fine. We're okay for a virtual safety car now, I
think they wanted to play.
That's what Toto's saying. He's saying, well, I thought it was 12 seconds. We made 13 seconds, so we thought everything was fine.
I think they wanted to play on the safe side. They realized that. They realized that Vettel had tires which had 8 laps less than Hamilton, and they didn't want to risk, to have a big thing, at the end. But I agree with you. They should have been,
after the safety car came out, it was job done. I mean, Vettel,
oh, right.
He would have had to have made a mistake for Hamilton to win.
Well, I mean, anyway. So one thing we haven't said, we want to keep it short, like in 25, 30 minutes. We are almost at the end because everybody. So I think we basically covered everything. Verstappen is nowhere to be seen. I mean, it made a really shitty race. Sorry for him, but it's about time that the guy grows up.
That's a bit harsh. That is a bit harsh, I've got to say.
Well, it is a bit harsh, but the guy came with great expectation. He's the next world champion, and I agree with you. He's great talent. Now it's the third year. He has all the team behind him. Ricciardo, they will probably not renew the contract to him. The whole team is behind Verstappen, so the guy has to deliver this year. He has no excuses, and he has to.
Yeah, I mean, he just turned in a little early to turn one, really. I mean, it's a shame. It's a really easy thing to do at that track. I've seen many great drivers do it. Yeah. But nonetheless, I mean, I thought it was exciting. I thought, I really thought it was exciting to see him try to do that. And I didn't really have a problem. When he spun, it was disappointing, but, he's going to learn, right? He's still young. He still needs to learn those lessons that you can't push the car that hard. If you notice how much Hamilton was pushing the car at the end to try and overtake Vettel.
Right.
But you could see him stepping out. He made a mistake as well, right?
No, I agree with you. The only thing
it's just where you make the mistakes that the real geniuses know, right?
No, I agree with you. The only thing, the thing that Verstappen has got to be really careful is the team he's running for. Because, historically, Red Bull doesn't give two shit to sack a pilot if they think, okay, fuck it, we're going to take another one. They're really harsh on that. So that's one thing that he should keep it on his toes right now.
Well, I don't know about that.
I don't know either. But, still.
He's got a 3-year contract. I mean, it would cost them 20 million to buy him out, to pay him off for.
Yeah, I mean, even Kia had a good contract, and
nothing like Verstappen's though. Nothing like Verstappen.
No, I agree. I mean, I'm just saying, historically, if there is one team where you can't sleep really good, I mean, like, oh, now I'm done. I got a really good contract. I can sleep between two pillows. That's Red Bull. So
yeah, fair enough. I mean, again, I don't think they'll be too disappointed. It got some attention, and it's a bad mistake to make because it's turn one and it's the inside curb, which is the big no as far as I'm concerned. You never come off from hitting that inside curb hard in anything other than a crash. So I thought he did really well to avoid the wall.
No, I agree. Oh yeah, I was also lucky a bit, but
yeah, definitely lucky.
I'm just saying that now he has to deliver. I mean, he can't, So.
I think the leash is shorter for him, definitely.
Oh, right.
So yeah, I mean,
especially if Ricciardo makes such good races like he did,
he's always gonna.
Right.
I mean, he's the. To me, I asked at the end of last year, who's the better driver, Vettel, Verstappen, or Ricciardo, and I didn't think Verstappen had got there yet. Right. Yeah. I really think Ricciardo is the package, which is going to get them a world championship if they do. But I don't think they're going to get a world championship looking at their first race. They couldn't get past a McLaren, so there's just no chance.
Right. So, I think that's all. We are under 30 minutes, which I think is great.
Absolutely. That sounds great. I would just say, which is the next race? I have no idea. I haven't even looked into it yet.
Oh, shit. Me either.
We need to find that out. So you do that while I wrap up some stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So Halo's, not too bad, I suppose. I mean, they don't do the fucking car any good because they're all in the wrong place. Maybe if we can paint the halos different colors as well, then that might make it a bit easier. I hate looking for the little stripes of different colors on the top camera. I've never got used to doing that in all the years they've been doing it, so that doesn't work for me. And
so next race. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and just to finish off, which is the rake this year. At the end of last year, we were talking about what changes they were going to make to the cars. And it turns out Mercedes didn't shorten their wheelbase. It was, in fact, Ferrari that lengthened it.
Yeah, Ferrari lengthened it for a little bit. It's still not as long as Mercedes, but they longed it a little bit.
No, but then we know now that for Mercedes aren't using the high rake kind of design. That they were in fact trying to get more air go over the top of their diffuser to add low pressure that way.
Right.
So it's really interesting how the teams like McLaren and Williams have also gone for that same strategy, while at the same time, keeping a short wheelbase. So it'll be interesting to see whether those teams can develop the cars to become much better at the high-speed corners.
Yeah, I think we talk a little bit about the cars, next episode.
Yeah,
this one was
that was the only thing I wanted.
Yes,
me from this particular race.
Next race is in Bahrain, the 8th of April. So yeah,
fantastic. That's a couple of weeks, so that gives us time to get our bullshit together for next time.
Right on.
And well, in that case, let me just play a couple of.
That is more than enough.
Okay, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us, and we will see you on the next one. Say ciao.
Ciao, ciao.